Higher education has always been a force for transformational change. And now, more than ever, it is so needed. We look at our world with tremendous racial inequalities, social inequalities of all kinds. And what is higher education able to do to maybe mitigate some of this or give us hope that there's a more inclusive future? Vassar is part of this conversation, and I'm eager to tell you about it. You have to work closely with your faculty because the faculty lead. They are the intellectual hub of the college. So we're going to start with a new program in which we're going to hire a cluster of faculty who focus on the area of race and racial inequality.
It's incredibly exciting for me to think about bringing in this cluster of new early career faculty to enrich the lives of not just their students, but their peers on campus, and to learn from their more senior colleagues on campus as well. Our sense is that this will be a kind of exciting initiative that will enliven the whole community.
Racial inequality is not something that we believe can be solved, in half a semester, in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. We see it as something that lives in our community, that lives in our larger world, and as such, it's kind of an ongoing project and work. What we want to do as a senior team, along with our community, is to really put into place certain practices and procedures and to develop an institutional culture that will allow us to continue to address structural inequality and racism for many years to come.
Understanding the institution's history is paramount to understanding where we are and beating a path forward for improving our inclusion. Our history is mixed. There have been tremendous advances at Vassar in the area of racial equality and social equality, but there have also been setbacks, and there have been moments that none of us can be proud of. Facing those, confronting them, reading about them, studying them, allows us to come to terms with some of those inequities and ideally drive a path towards a much more inclusive college environment.
So often it's been said that history is told by those in power, and those in power have done a lot to hold on to that power that they may not be necessarily that proud of. And so you often find that history is modified or erased and hidden. So how many of us know that, for example, slavery was not just a Southern phenomenon, it was something that happened in the North and right here in the Hudson Valley, as a matter of fact? And how many of us know about the voting strategies and banking practices, housing practices that have kept blacks disenfranchised for decades? So we created the Hidden History Project to examine some of these hidden histories and to look at how these elements are playing out today in our criminal justice system, in health and wealth disparities, housing.
Think about our Black Studies program, which was a direct result of student activism. 1969, one of the very first programs of its kind in the country, now Africana Studies. We also have a magnificent prison studies program, and we're starting to think about carceral studies more broadly. Our faculty, our students, our senior leadership team, and our board are really quite diverse. We could always do better, but quite diverse. In our financial aid, we have such a commitment to bringing in people, whether they can really pay or not, to get a great Vassar education. So many of these aspects are things that we're really proud about. But when we look over really what we want to achieve, this is a moment where we have to consolidate what we've done and grow, deepen our commitments to racial equality.
I remember in 1991, shortly after the Rodney King incident in 1991, in May, Vassar received the Ford Foundation Grant, which was designed to improve the curriculum. And I was fortunate enough to work with some faculty on that. So I always think there are moments in time where these opportunities are presented. And it doesn't happen alone, or it doesn't happen in a vacuum. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of discussion and soul searching that requires an honesty, a recognition of our history. And only then can we begin to address inequities. I think by getting people in the room and getting a really diverse room, whether it's around gender, race, sexual orientation, class, all of those voices have to be present in order for us to move forward.
I have to say I'm so grateful to my colleagues. They have had energy, they've been open, they've been willing to examine themselves and examine our institution and turn it upside down and try to figure out how can we do better. And not being overly impatient about that either. Our colleagues have really sat with it and felt it and waited until we can think how truly to respond in the very best way. And I think we're going to get there.
We are super excited to have the opportunity that's before us. President Bradley, Dean Hoynes announced recently that the faculty will have 5 new members among its ranks. That is, we'll be hiring 5 new faculty on the tenure track to join the wonderful people that we already have here in terms of doing work in critical race theory, critical race studies, and issues of incarceration and unfreedom. And so this is an exciting time for Vassar. This is an exciting time for Africana Studies. We're really looking forward to the years ahead.
I'm so excited that Vassar has decided to have a tenured position for Asian Studies on campus, and it's been kind of a long time coming, but I think it's really helpful for not only the students who will be taking Asian Studies, but for everybody. I think the more that we know about history, about American history, and we're all part of that, the better. I think that the last couple of years, having gone through this incredible pandemic and political activities in the country and on campus with Black Lives Matter and Asian American Pacific Islander hate crimes, it's very, very, very important that each of us understands history. And only by understanding and learning, I think there's a lot to learn for all of us. Only by understanding and learning can we put injustices and injury into perspective. And I think we've all seen that, an injury or injustice to one is really an injury and injustice to all.